Hello kids, this is Aleyna's teacher. Today we will read a story in Peppa Pig's story. It is called what? It is called the Tooth Fairy. Okay, shall we start? Yes, let's start. The Tooth Fairy. Once upon a time, there was a clever little pig named Peppa. She was very proud of her. Grunt, grunt. Peppa and her brother George knew how to take care of their teeth, and they brushed them every morning and every evening. Peppa and George loved playing dentist. They play dentist game. Look at that. This is the dentist costume, right? And dentist outfit, and Peppa would pretend to be the dentist, and George would be her assistant. George's toy dinosaur was the patient. It is a patient. And George's toy, what lovely clean teeth you have, Mr. Dinosaur. Peppa smiles. And George says, "Grrr." One day, after playing their dentist game, Peppa and George were eating their dinner. Suddenly, something fell onto Peppa's plate. Look at that. It made Peppa jump. "What's that?" she asked, and Daddy Pig said, or laughed, "Oh, it's a tooth." But where is it from?" asked Peppa. "Why don't you look in the mirror?" said Mummy Pig. Mirror. And Peppa looked. She had a big gap. This is the gap in her teeth. And oh no, Peppa cried. "Do we need to go to see Dr. Elephant?" And Mummy Pig said, "No. It's just a baby tooth. It's meant to pull out. It is a baby tooth. Okay, so it must be fall out." And a baby tooth? What's that? asked Peppa. A baby tooth is a tooth that's fall out when you're young, explained Mummy Pig. And a new one will grow in its place. "What should I do with my baby tooth?" asked Peppa. "If you place it under your pillow, the tooth fairy will come. She will take your tooth and leave you a shiny new coin," said Mummy Pig. That evening, while Peppa watched television with her family, she kept thinking about the tooth fairy. "And when I grow up, I want to be a tooth fairy," said Peppa. And Daddy Pig chuckled. "What about you, George?" And George pointed at his dinosaur and he said, "Dinosaur." And Peppa shouted, "Come on, George." And we don't want to miss the tooth fairy. They both ran up the stairs to get ready for bed. And what are you doing, Peppa? Asked the pig. Peppa was carefully brushing her baby tooth. I want it to be nice and clean for the tooth fairy. She brushed the baby tooth. Peppa tucked the tooth under her pillow. And are you sure the tooth fairy will be able to find it? She asked. And I promise, said Mommy Pig. Just you wait and see. And good night, Peppa and George. Good night, Mommy. Good night, Daddy. Okay, and Peppa couldn't sleep. And she said, I'm going to wait up all night for the tooth fairy. George, let's not go to sleep. George smiled and nodded. Peppa waited and waited. Snore, snore, she could hear something. Is that the tooth fairy? Peppa wondered. And George, she whispered, did you hear that? Can you see the tooth fairy? She climbed down to look at the George. He was fast asleep, and it was him making the noise. I'm much better at staying awake than George, Peppa sighed. She settled back in her bed. After a while, her eyes started to close, and she quickly opened her eyes. And I'm going to stay awake and see the tooth fairy, Peppa said to herself firmly. And snore, snore, but soon she was asleep. Tinkle, tinkle, what was that? What was that? It was a tooth fairy. Hello, Peppa, she whispered. And would you like a coin in exchange for your tooth? The tooth fairy gently took Peppa's tooth out from under the pillow and put a shiny coin in its place. What a lovely and clean tooth, the fairy said. Thank you very much. The next morning, Peppa found the shiny coin under her pillow. Mommy, the tooth fairy did come after all, she shouted, and jumping up and down. Oh, I wish I had seen the tooth fairy, Peppa sighed. Next time, I'm definitely going to stay awake all night. Okay, that's all, kids. I know you remember this story, but I want you to read one more time. Okay, so thank you for watching me and take care of yourself. See you.